Have you ever felt like the world around you is full of color, but for you, it's drained into gray? Like everyone else is moving forward, laughing, living, but you're stuck under an invisible weight? That invisible weight has a name: depression. And today, we're going to unpack it layer by layer. So, what exactly is depression? Clinically, depression, often called major depressive disorder, is more than sadness. It's a persistent state of emotional, cognitive, and even physical suffering that disrupts a person's ability to live life fully. Imagine this. You're wearing a heavy, wet coat that you cannot take off. Everywhere you go, it drags you down. Tasks that used to be simple, brushing your teeth, cooking a meal, sending a text, suddenly feel like climbing a mountain. That's depression. But it's not just in your head. Depression affects the brain, body, and emotions. It alters brain chemistry. Neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine become imbalanced, leaving a person trapped in cycles of despair. Picture your brain as a city filled with lights. Each light represents mood, energy, motivation. In depression, it's as if half the city's power grid has gone dark. Streets that once bustled with activity now feel abandoned. That's why people describe feeling numb, empty, or hopeless. In short, depression is not laziness, weakness, or bad attitude. It's a medical condition, one that demands our understanding and compassion. Depression isn't one size fits all. It comes in different types, each with unique timeframes and patterns. Major depressive disorder, MDD, lasts at least 2 weeks or more, characterized by deep sadness, loss of interest, changes in sleep, appetite, and energy. Think of it as a storm that doesn't pass quickly. Persistent depressive disorder, Dysthymia, symptoms last 2 years or longer. It's less intense than MDD, but chronic, like a low-grade fever of sadness that never breaks. Bipolar disorder, depressive episodes. Not just depression, it alternates between high-energy mania and low depressive crashes. The depressive phase often mirrors MDD, seasonal affective disorder, SAD, depression triggered by changes in seasons, often fall and winter. Think of it as the mind hibernating, drained of light. Postpartum depression occurs after childbirth, usually within the first year. Beyond the baby blues, it involves deep sadness, guilt, or difficulty bonding with the infant. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD. Severe mood changes before menstruation, far beyond PMS. Think of depression as different shades of the same storm. Some storms are sudden and violent. Some are long, gray drizzles that never end. Others follow predictable seasons. But they all drench the soul with heaviness. Here's something many don't realize. Depression looks different in adults and children. For adults, persistent sadness, guilt, hopelessness, withdrawal from friends and activities, sleep problems, appetite changes. Thoughts of death or suicide may surface. For children and teens, instead of deep sadness, they often show irritability, anger, or defiance. Poor school performance, physical complaints like stomach aches or headaches, clinginess in younger children, risk-taking behaviors in teens. For both adults and children, a depressive episode must last at least 2 weeks for diagnosis. But chronic cases like persistent depressive disorder may stretch over years, even decades if untreated. Imagine 2 kids building sandcastles. One child is building joyfully, laughing, engaging. The other sits nearby but doesn't join. His bucket is full of holes, and no matter how much sand he pours, nothing builds. That's childhood depression. Unseen, misunderstood, but very real. So how can we recognize depression? For adults, persistent sadness or emptiness, loss of pleasure, fatigue, brain fog, guilt, worthlessness, suicidal thoughts. For children, such as teens, mood swings, anger, irritability, trouble concentrating at school, social withdrawal, extreme sensitivity to rejection, frequent unexplained physical complaints. Here's the key. Depression is not always loud. Sometimes the happiest-looking person is fighting the deepest battles in silence. Think of a duck on a pond. On the surface, it seems calm, gliding smoothly. But underneath, its legs are paddling furiously. Many depressed individuals live like this, appearing fine while barely holding it together. Depression isn't just about feeling sad. It invades daily life, relationships, work, school, even the ability to get out of bed. Parents lose energy to care for children. Students stop focusing on studies. Workers lose motivation, risking jobs. Families fracture under the invisible strain. Globally, depression is one of the leading causes of disability. And worst of all, it's linked with suicide, claiming over 700,000 lives every year. Picture a person holding a glass of water. At first, it's easy, but hold it for hours, days, weeks. The arm trembles, the weight becomes unbearable. Depression is like that. It's not about the glass, but the crushing burden of carrying it endlessly. Here's the good news. Depression is treatable. Options include psychotherapy, talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, helps reframe negative thoughts. Interpersonal therapy heals relationship issues fueling depression. When it comes to medications, antidepressants, SSRIs, SNRIs, balance brain chemicals. They're not happy pills, but tools to stabilize mood. Lifestyle changes, regular exercise, balanced diet, sleep hygiene, mindfulness, prayer, meditation, support systems, family, friends, support groups. Honest conversations break the stigma. Imagine depression as a locked room. Therapy gives you the map, medication gives you the key, and support gives you the hand to walk out together. Is depression preventable? The honest answer, not always. Genetics, trauma, and biology play strong roles. But we can lower risk and build resilience. For adults, stress management, healthy lifestyle, early help, building strong social connections. For children, teaching emotional regulation early, providing safe, stable environments, encouraging open conversations about feelings. Think of prevention like giving a child an umbrella before the storm. The rain may still fall, but they'll be less drenched, less harmed. Too often, depression hides behind myths. It's just laziness. You need to snap out of it. Real men don't get depressed. But let's shatter that stigma. Depression is not weakness. It's a medical condition just as real as diabetes or asthma. And healing begins when we replace judgment with compassion. Imagine someone drowning in a pool. Would you shout, "Just swim harder"? Or would you reach out with a lifeline? That's what people with depression need, not judgment, but rescue. If you're listening today and depression has touched your life or someone you love, hear this. Depression is not the end of your story. Yes, it is heavy. Yes, it can feel endless. But there is hope. With treatment, with support, with honesty, millions recover every year. You are not broken, you are not alone, and your tomorrow can look brighter than today. Imagine a dark night sky. You think it will last forever until little by little dawn breaks. The sun rises and light pierces through. That's recovery from depression. While depression is real and deeply painful, faith in God can be a tremendous anchor in the storm. Many battles with depression are not only physical or emotional, but also spiritual. That's why countless people in Christ have found freedom, peace, and restoration where medicine alone could not reach. Jesus himself declared in John 8:36, "So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed." This is more than a promise, it's a reality. Through prayer, worship, and surrender to Christ, people burdened by depression have testified to new strength, joy, and light breaking through the darkness. Faith does not replace treatment, but it gives hope that transcends medicine. Therapy may heal the mind, but Christ heals the soul. Many who walk with Him discover that depression's chains, though heavy, are not unbreakable. Because with Jesus, freedom is possible. Healing is possible. Hope is alive. Now that you know everything about depression, the next video will be talking about anxiety. Subscribe to be notified when it is available.